A very good morning to Dr. Rosli. So we are from Group 7. We are going to present regarding our assignment 1 group project for the business that we choose, which is Hasli's Global Enterprise.
Hello, my name is HASHENI THANGARAJ and my matric number is 289933. I'm going to present about company background. Aslis Global Enterprise registered under the Business Registration Act 1956 until October 31st, 2024 is a sole proprietorship owned by Mrs. Nurul Naziza binti Abdul Raza. The company situated at number 88 Jalan BJ 19, Taman Bertam Jaya Cheng 76450 Melaka offers a diverse range of services including supplying food and beverages, catering, selling biscuits, cakes, bread, pastry, chocolate, providing ample sewing curtain and clothes, selling and repairing computers, complete software services, drop shipping and promptly vending machine. Profit from the vending machine business contribute to the growth, maintenance and expansion of the enterprise with residual income considered as passive income due to the non-active involvement of the owner in operating the revenue generating assets. The financial success of the vending machine business often thought with part-time reaches and highly hourly wages is subject to fluctuation based on various factors, challenging the notion of easy return as a realistic analysis of the situation. Thank you.
The context diagram illustrates how Hassel's global enterprise manages its purchase order flow through interaction among external entities, internal processes, data stores, and data flows. External stakeholders such as suppliers, banks, and government agencies are integral to this system. Internally, the process begins with purchase order initiation, followed by good receipts, invoicing, and payment settlement, and all linked to meticulous financial record keeping in the general ledger. Tax reporting process extract vital information for regulatory compliance. Data stores maintain essential records like inventory, account payable, and customer transaction. The interconnected data flow ensures streamlined procurement and payment accuracy and also regulatory adherence. This diagram serves as a crucial roadmap for operational improvement and data integrity and compliance within Hasli's global enterprise financial landscape. The data flow diagram detailing the vending machine purchase process within an accounting information system meticulously outlines the physical data movement between the machine owner and supplier. Initiated by the owner recognizing the need for restocking, the order placement with the supplier marks the commencement. This transmission, whether electronic or through alternative means, encapsulates crucial specifiers of the required item and quantities. Upon receipt, the supplier processes the order and preparing the goods for delivery directly to the vending machine's location. The subsequent phase involves the machine or designated personnel receiving the delivery and undertaking the restocking procedure, ensuring the machine is replenished with the purchased item. An important quality check follows, ensuring the stock item meets standards for salability and condition. The diagram accentuates the machine's internal system updating inventory levels post-restocking, reflecting the refreshed stock status. Additionally, an alert mechanism, whether electronic or through a physical indicator on the machine, notifies the owner of the completion of restocking. The visual representations serve as a valuable tool for the accountants and stakeholders, offering insight into the efficiency, accuracy, and nuances of the vending machine's purchasing system. Its utility extends to analyzing process and pinpointing potential bottlenecks, optimizing workflow, and ensuring meticulous record keeping and proficient inventory management within this specific operational sphere. The cash disbursement data flow diagram encapsulates the critical steps involved in transferring funds from a company to its supplier, outlining the internal procedures governing payment execution. It all begins with the supplier issuing an invoice detailing the oath amount and due date and payment specifics. Once received, the company's account payable department meticulously reviews the invoice and cross-referencing it with purchase order and related documentation to ensure accuracy and validate the transaction legitimacy. Upon confirming the invoice correctness, the accounts payable department proceeds to approve the payment, potentially necessitating managerial authorization. Subsequently, the department prepares the payment, be it a check or electronic transfer, ensuring adherence to designated payment modes. The payment is dispatched to the supplier, either via mail or hand delivery of check or electronic transfer to the supplier's bank's account. Simultaneously, the accounts payable team diligently records the financial outflow in the company's accounting system and updating the both GL and accounts payable subsidiary ledger to maintain accurate financial records. The cycle concludes as the supplier receives and deposits the disbursed payment into their bank account. While this data flow diagram offers a conscious depiction, it acknowledges potential variation influenced by company size, industry, intricacies, and internal control protocols that may tailor these steps accordingly.
A very good morning, doctor. My name is Shalini Nagarajan and my metric number is 28807. So I'm going to continue with logical data flow diagram. First of all, the logical flow of data within Huxley's global enterprise vending machine business is represented in a structured manner through the logical data flow diagram. The process begins with the monitor inventory records activity, where the company regularly conducts physical counts of its inventory to ensure accuracy. This data flow leads to the next step, which is prepare purchase order, indicating that when the inventory monitoring identifies the need for restocking. The company generates a purchase order to its supplier. The logical progression continues as the system receives information from the supplier, establishing the received goods activity. These steps involves details such as shipping information, order information, and delivery address. Following the receipt of goods, the company performs and update inventory record activities, ensuring that the inventory files are current and reflective of the newly acquired products. Subsequently, the process involves match and update related journal and ledger, emphasizing the importance of synchronizing financial records with the inventory data. And lastly, the logical flow conducts with the make payment to the supplier activities, signifying the completion of the transaction cycle. This comprehensive representation of the vending machine business data flow provides a clear understanding of how information is managed and processed throughout key operational stages. Next, I will continue with cash disbursement data flow diagram. Okay, in the initial step, Huxley's global enterprise identifies the liability that are due for payment. This involves reviewing outstanding invoices, bills, or obligations that require disbursement of cash. The process begins with the company determining its financial commitments and obligations. Once the liability are identified, the system initiates the purchase cash disbursement process. This involves the generation of purchase requests for the identified liabilities. Authorized personnel, after careful review, approve this payment request. This step ensures that all necessary approvals are in place before proceeding with the actual disbursement of cash. And then, following the approval of payment request, the system updates the account payable records. This step is crucial for maintaining accurate financial record and tracking the company's outstanding obligations. The AP records reflect the reduction in liabilities corresponding to the disbursement of cash. providing a real-time overview of the company's financial status. Subsequently, to updating AP records, the system posts the transaction details to the general ledger. This step involves recording the cash disbursement in the company's overarching financial ledger. By posting to the general ledger, Hasley's global enterprise ensure that the financial impact of the disbursement is accurately reflected across all relevant accounts, contributing to the overall financial transparency and integrity of the company's record. So that's all from me. I will pass it to another presenter. Thank you.
Purchase data flow diagram. Firstly, purchasing department. I'm going to explain the step involved in purchasing department. Receive a purchase requisition from a department in the company. Secondly, create a purchase order PO based on the requisition. Send the PO to the vendor. Receive a packaging slip from the vendor. Next, open the PO when the goods are received. Close the PO when the invoice is paid. Lastly, files the PO and requisition. Next, inventory control. The steps involved are: firstly, updates the inventory when a purchase order is opened. Second, receive a receiving report from the receiving department. Updates the inventory when a receiving report is received. Fourthly, maintain a vendor file. Maintain a purchase order file. Lastly, maintain a receiving report file. Thirdly, receiving department. The steps involved are: firstly, receive goods from vendors. Next, prepare a receiving report. Thirdly, send the receiving report to inventory control. Lastly, files the receiving report. Now, the image I provided is a flowchart diagram depicting the interaction between the account payable department and the general ledger department within an organization, focusing on the process of handling and recording transactions. I will explain the flow step by step. First, account payable department. The process begins with the open AP file action, which likely involves the initiation of a new payable transaction or records. A three-way match is performed, which is a process of matching the purchase order, the receiving report, and the supplier invoice to ensure that the transaction is complete and accurate. This step is crucial to verify that what was ordered was received and is being billed at the agreed open price. Once the three-way match is confirmed, an AP update is performed. This typically involves updating the accounts payable records with the new transaction details. Next, a journal voucher is then prepared, which is a document recording a transaction in the journal. This voucher acts as an authorization for the financial transaction. A detail are then entered into the purchase journal and updated in the AP subledger, which is a detailed records of transaction related to accounts payable. Secondly, general ledger department. The journal voucher prepared by the account payable department is received by the general ledger department. A GL update is performed, which involves updating the general ledger within the transaction. The general ledger is the master set of accounts that summarize all transactions occurring with an organization. After updating the general ledger, a journal voucher summary is prepared, which provides a summarized view of the transaction that have occurred. This summary is again used to update the general ledger, ensuring that all transactions are accurately reflected in the organization financial records. This diagram represents a segment of the financial transaction recording process, demonstrating the importance of accuracy and validation in financial operation and how transactions move from being recognized as payable to being recorded in the overall financial system. Next, the image I provided is a flowchart diagram that represents the cash disbursement process within an organization. This is divided into the three main sections: account payable, cash disbursement, and general ledger. I will explain the flow step by step. Firstly, account payable. The process begins within the opening of the AP file. Next, AP packets the review and then submitted for payment. Next, the receiving report, purchase order and the supply invoice are matched and updated in the AP subledger. Lastly, a summary is created which leads to the closing of the AP file. Cash disbursement. Firstly, the closed AP file summary is used to generate a check copy and receiving report, which along with the purchase order and supplier invoice and comply with the journal voucher. Secondly, the check register is prepared. Thirdly, checks are then signed and sent to the supplier. Lastly, a copy of the signed check is kept for the record. Thirdly, general ledger. The summarization from the AP and the cash disbursement process are passed to the general ledger. Journal vouchers are prepared from the summarizations. Lastly, the general ledger is updated and reconciled based on these journal vouchers. This diagram is a typical representation of how an organization financial system operates to process payment to supplier, ensuring that all the steps from the verification of the invoice to the final ledger entry are properly documented and controlled.